Hello, connected yoga teachers. Shannon Crow here. I just wanted to pop in here today to talk about a question that I'm getting from a lot of you in consultation calls. So I thought it'd be good to share with the yoga teachers around in the global community. If you're not already a member of our private Facebook group, come on over. It's the Connected Yoga Teacher. It's not the page, it's a group, so look for the Connected Yoga Teacher group. If you're looking for that, go to the connectedyogateacher.com. I'll put a link here in the comments when I'm done, and you can see the big join the community button. So yoga teachers from all over, it's free to join. You can post questions in there. It's a really fun and supportive group that we have. So a lot of this has to do with, so I hear some of you talking to me about money mindset issues, setting your prices, the challenges of being a yoga entrepreneur. And this is a common thing that I help yoga teachers with in consultation calls, but it's also, I want to share kind of my own thought process around how I'm dealing with this in my own business. I see a couple of you are popping in here live. If you can say a little hello in the comments. If you have questions, they can be completely unrelated to what we're chatting about today. They can be something totally different. So today I want to talk to you about increasing your prices and adding value to what you're offering in terms of prices. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Shannon Crow. I'm a yoga teacher. I live on the Bruce Peninsula in Ontario, Canada, and I'm also a mother of three, and I'm a consultant for yoga teachers. I work with yoga teachers who really want to have yoga as a business and who aren't afraid of calling themselves a yoga entrepreneur. There are yoga teachers out there, and it's also another option to share yoga as more of a hobby or a charity, to be giving yoga classes away. And that's not really who I specifically work with. I work with people who want to make yoga either a full-time career or a pretty steady part-time career. And those yoga teachers really see the value in uh, trading their services, their offerings of yoga in exchange for money. And this can be a tricky, it can be a tricky mindset for yoga teachers. And a lot of yoga teachers are women, and it can be a tricky mindset for women as well. This whole idea of giving to the community, we also want to be receiving as well. So I like to work with yoga teachers who really want to thrive in their business so that they can continue to fill up, have enough time to enjoy life and fill up it that way, and then also be able to share yoga in a way that they're getting paid for it. So I just have to stick with my notes here, I'll go off track. When are you increasing your prices? So this is a question that I'd like you to sit with for a moment. So when's the last time you increased your prices as a yoga teacher? And if your answer is I've never increased my prices, I want you to just think about it for a moment. Or if it starts to bring up some discomfort, because it can for many of us. I've experienced this myself. Think of your hairstylist, someone who cleans your home, or your mechanic who fixes your car. Think of someone in the service industry, maybe a veterinarian, or for those of you who don't have free healthcare like we do in Canada, your doctor. People who offer a service, maybe your massage therapist, someone who offers you a facial. How do these people increase their prices? So they are increasing their prices. And how do they do it? So some people let you know when they're going to increase their prices, and others, it's just there on your invoice. It's just that there is a price increase. And you, as the recipient of these services, you have a couple of choices. You can decide, no, I'm going to go with someone else who's not charging as much, or I'm going to continue to work with this person that I know, like, and trust. And So that starts to get into a little bit of the money mindset. If this still feels really difficult, even just around money mindset or setting your prices, couple of options here. There's an episode, podcast episode number 11 with Tracy Eccleston on the Connected Yoga Teacher. I'll put a link here in our comments. It's on setting prices and defining your value as a yoga teacher. And I've heard from a lot of you that you really love this episode and you've really gotten a lot of value out of it. There's also a course with Rosalind Kemmer, totally around money mindset that I've taken myself, and Rosalind offered this. And if you're interested in that, let us know in the comments, and we'll set you up with the replay of that course. It ran live a while ago. For those of you who took the money mindset course, kind of let us know what gems you gained from that. So to get back to increasing your prices, even another example of increasing prices is in Canada here, our minimum wage is going to go up from $11 an hour to $15 an hour. And so that's got different people, you know, in discussion. I don't want to get into that, but basically we expect that like say the price of gas or price of a loaf of bread is going to go up, and we expect that, but for some reason we sometimes have a limiting belief around increasing our prices as a yoga teacher. So I have been looking at this myself in terms of how can I look at this as an annual thing. For me, I think it's an annual thing. For you, it might be every 3 months, every 6 months. So let me know in the comments here. Hi, Dominique, glad you can be here. Let me know, when's the last time you increased your prices, or have you not ever increased your prices? Type that in the comments, whether you're watching live or you're watching it later. It'd be good to start a discussion around that. And so personally for myself, I'm going to start looking at increasing my prices in September. As a yoga teacher, I think there's 2 waves of an increase in interest around yoga. So I think the first one is January, New Year's resolutions, and everyone's looking at that. And I think the other one is September. It's kind of back to class. Let's get back to yoga. And so this is where I have decided to take my own advice on this, because I've been talking to some of you in consultation calls. So personally, I'm going to look at the first week of July and the first week of August, put it on my calendar to let people know that my prices are going up in September. I think for myself, I would like to let people know. And again, this is a choice. You can either just increase it or you can let people know. That'll be with my personal yoga classes as well as the consultation calls. So those of you who haven't booked an initial consultation call with me, or prices are going to go up, you're going to see an email come out from me and a little bit of notice in our Connected Yoga Teacher. So if you're thinking about booking one, make sure you do it before September the 1st. And then in terms of my yoga classes, so this is one thing that I find is really, I've realized in the last few weeks that it's really important to me to be a yoga teacher who's teaching a weekly class so that I can know what you guys are feeling. Dominique shares, my group prices have stayed the same, but I only opened last September 2016. I put a lot of thought into it. Yeah, so we put a lot of thought into how much to charge, and if you're wondering that, go back and listen to Tracy Eccleston's podcast episode. I think overall, the Coles Notes version of what I tell people in terms of how to set your prices is look at other professionals around you. So for instance, look at a massage therapist. How much are they charging per hour? And set that as your rate. And even when you're going to set your group class prices, set it at that. So say you set it at $90 to $100 per hour that you would like to make. Look at your group classes in the same way as well. Dominique says, with private sessions, I kept going back and forth and took a long time to figure it out. But when I listened to the podcast about classes, then you went back to your original price. I like that, because sometimes we just need to talk it over with someone. And I would say if you have two prices in mind, go with the one that's higher. We often will, myself included, will put a lower price on it, just thinking you want to help people out. You want to make it affordable, which we do. We want to make yoga affordable for people. But one other way to look at this is that if we're charging enough, we are then able to actually offer people, say, a scholarship or a discount or some way, have a way that we can give yoga to people who can afford it. Like maybe we get a 50% scholarship once we have enough saved up. And I know Joanne Pinot, you were talking about this and putting a donate button on your website. That's another way as well. But please do not cut your prices so that you can make yoga accessible for everyone. The more that you're sharing yoga with people and getting paid for it, the more you will be able to continue to share it. So if you feel inspired, please join me in this and just marking on your calendar. And all I'm asking is that you look at a time when you increase your prices. So Dominique, you said that you opened last September 2016. So I'd really invite you, because your opening is September, to look at this, around June, July, August. Am I going to increase my prices? Um, and to put it as a recurring thing on your calendar so that you're looking at it annually. Maybe you decide that January feels better, or maybe there's another month altogether. The other part of this, if we're struggling to think, oh, I'm not sure if I should increase my prices that much, start to look at the value that you're adding. So I want to share just my own personal experience in this with the consultation calls that I do. The consultation calls are going to go up in price, and I have no problem with that now, seeing the amount of work that I put into it. So I am continuously thinking about situations with yoga teachers, and sometimes I send them a message or I hold those thoughts, jot them down, and use them in our next consultation call. Those that have booked an initial consultation call with me, you'll know that I'm now offering packages to anyone who has worked with me in the past, and that's because I really see the value in meeting once a month for 6 to 12 months to stay accountable to those goals and to keep moving forward in your yoga business. And in that, I know that I take a ton of notes while we're meeting, and then I like to compile that in an email and say, like, these are the top things, or here's what I see, and here's a video to go along with that. And then I had someone ask me this week, can you also send me a reminder like 2 weeks before our call? And I paused for a moment, and then I thought, yes, I can, because I know that I'm increasing my prices in September, and that is how I can add value. So look at your yoga classes and how can you add value to them? Can you do a printout for your students? And it's not that you have to promise them when you increase your prices. Increase your prices and then think, you know what? Because I've increased my prices, I can spend an extra hour putting together a nice PDF of a flow for these people. So how can you add value to what you're offering? Your yoga classes, I know some of you are doing Thai yoga massage, some of you are doing Reiki, some of you are physiotherapists. So in that way, start to look at how can you add value for these students. Another example, private one-on-one classes, I like to message those people sometimes and check in with them and see how they're doing. So if you guys have some other ways that you add value to your classes, for sure share that in our comments. And if you continue to have questions about increasing prices and setting your prices, for sure post them here in this thread, or if you want to post them in the private group, you can post them over in the Connected Yoga Teacher group. I wanted to tell you, tomorrow's episode, I'm really excited about it. It's one of our Connected Yoga Teacher members, Brittany Allred. Brittany is a brand new teacher. When we talked, she'd only been teaching for a week. I know she's been teaching longer now. And she really wanted to talk about strengthening verbal cues. And I'm excited because I kind of compiled a list for you guys. I made it into a pretty image that I'll be sharing. And hi, Wendy. Thanks. Wendy says, thanks for sharing. You're welcome, Wendy. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, so I'm excited about that episode with Brittany tomorrow because I go through why we want to strengthen our verbal cues and then some ways to do it. And these are ways that I've used or I've helped other people with when I'm doing consultation calls. For those of you who love live video, and if you haven't looked back through our live videos, we have 20 episodes in there. There's a couple of them that are missing that I need to get. I have the video already, and Laura's done the show notes, and I will get them up there for you guys. It's just been a bit of a busy time. My middle child is graduating grade 8. As you guys know, it's like June, where end of school year happens next week, and it just feels like there's a lot happening. It's really rainy here today in Ontario, and the school had asked me to volunteer and do some yoga there, but it got canceled due to the rain, and that's why I thought, okay, I'm going to jump in and share a little bit that's been sitting in my mind here. Also, over in the Connected Yoga Teacher, we have a question thread that's going on about Facebook. If you guys have any questions about Facebook ads, I just did an interview this week with a Facebook expert who's also in the yoga marketing world, and I'm excited when that episode goes out. I forget which date it is, but it is in the queue. And I just keep posting your questions in there because it's Amanda Bond. Some of you might know Amanda, and she said that she would do a live video for us answering those questions. So that might even happen before the podcast. Alrighty, everyone. Stay in touch. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to value your work. You are doing amazing things for the world. When someone connects with you and you're a yoga teacher and you're helping them with their mobility and their peace of mind, this is a huge gift that is worth a lot. Okay, you guys, take care. Have a great Friday.